Hello students and welcome to InstaO's Geography class. Here at InstaO, we believe in democratizing education for all. In the last session, we studied about the agro-based industries, the manufacturing industries and different types of raw materials used in these industries. Today, let's see what is in store for us in this session. So let's begin. Now, when we speak about mineral-based industry, the very first industry that comes to our mind is iron and steel industry, right? So, let us first understand what is the importance of this. Foundation for other industries, very important. It acts as a foundation for different types of industries because the machinery which is made for other industries, it is made out of iron and steel only, right? So, or something related to this, isn't it? So, it is the foundation industry basically. Then uses, if you see engineering in different engineering projects, different engineering things it is used. Construction industry, it is used in defense, it is also used for medical use, correct? Then consumer goods, to manufacture consumer goods it is used. So all these industries are based on iron and steel industry. So development indicator. It is one of the indicator of development. If you see steel production, how much production of steel is taking place, how much consumption or use of steel is taking place, shows development of a particular country. Then heavy industries, of course, it is one of the heavy industries because the raw material is iron and steel, right? So high transportation cost will be there definitely. So it is here. More money is involved for raw and finished goods. So when it is extracted, it is a mineral, so mining is to be done. So all these things it involves. So transportation costs adds on to this till you get the finished goods. There are many different chain or processes that it goes through. So raw material for this, of course, it is iron ore and coking coal, limestone and manganese as well, apart from iron ore. So these are some of the raw materials. It requires efficient transport network so that the goods can be transported properly. Then Chota Nagpur Plateau, the plateau region, I'm sure you must have studied about Chota Nagpur Plateau earlier. Mostly plateaus are, we call them storehouse of minerals, right? So here, key region due to low cost iron ore. So here low cost iron ore is available. High grade raw material is available. Cheap labor is available. So these are all the, what you can say is needs of a proper industry, right? So this is a map and here you can see the different iron and steel industry. It is mostly focused over here. See, this is the region where you will see these industries. Okay, aluminium smelting in India. Now let us try to understand this. So India ranks second in metallurgical industries. Properties, if you see, light, it is not very heavy, it's a light mineral. Then corrosion resistance, so a lot of corrosion doesn't take place, so it is corrosion proof or corrosion resistance, you can say. Malleable and very strong. So these are some of the important properties of aluminium, right? Uses application where all you use aircraft, since it is a light material, so aircrafts and even for shipping, making ships and all, right? Making utensils, wires, it can be used very easily. Then substitute for this, it is a substitute, like for steel, it is a substitute, copper, zinc, lead, so it is a perfect substitute. A location, the states where it is found: Orissa, West Bengal, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, then you have Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra as well as Tamil Nadu. You will find these. So quite a lot of states where you find aluminium. Then raw material, bauxite, it is a bulky mineral. Dark reddish rock. Key features: reliable electricity, basically for that. Low cost raw material, so very important for industries. Alright, chemical industries in India. Let us understand this. First of all, overview of chemical industries. Growth, rapid and diverse. So here growth is going on. It is rapidly growing and in different region as well. Scale, large scale also, and you have small scale units as well in this. So both are there. Sectors, if you see inorganic chemicals, there are inorganic chemicals and organic chemicals, right? So in this inorganic chemicals, sulfuric acid, very important. These are used for fertilizers, fibers, plastics, paints, dyes, it is used for. Then soda ash, then it is used to make glass, right? It is used to make soaps, detergent, paper as well, very important. Then caustic soda, nitric acid and alkalis, if you see, there are various uses of these, different types of use it is. Organic chemicals industry in India, we saw about inorganic. Now let's talk about organic. First of all, overview, petrochemicals used for synthetic fibers basically, then rubber, so synthetic fibers, rubber, plastics, dyes, drugs, pharmaceuticals. So for all these things, different medicines, if you see, it is used for. So you can see it has a diverse use, isn't it? So location near oil refineries, so mostly near oil refineries you will see, or even petrochemical plants which are present. So there you will find this kind of industry. Industry consumption, self-consumption processes based chemical into industrial, agricultural and consumer products. So here we cover industrial, agriculture as well as consumer products. Okay, coming on to fertilizer industry in India. As we know, India is an agrarian country. Most of the people in India are dependent directly or indirectly on agriculture. So this industry becomes very important. Okay, so nitrogenous, that is urea, the different types rather. Okay, then phosphatic, that is DAP, complex NPK. These are the different types of fertilizers that you get. Potash, very important. It is fully imported. We do not have the production, so it is imported to India. Key states over here are Gujarat, then you have Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Kerala, which have fertilizer industries. Then comes to cement industry in India. This is another very important industry. So because it is used in constructions, buildings, not just of homes but also factories, see, houses, factories, roads, different bridges, dams. So we know the importance of each one of these, right? So and it is the infrastructure basically, you can say, and it is so important. So definitely cement industry needs to be developed. Raw material which is used is limestone, silica, gypsum, and it needs coal and power as well on a large scale. Locations, if you see, it is in Gujarat, access to Gulf market so that they can export it over there. First plant, if you see, was done in Chennai in the year 1904. Expanded post independence, more and more growth took place after that. A little bit of interesting activity that you can do. Choosing cement plant location. Objective, find economically viable location for cement plant. Where do you think would be, if you have to have your own cement plant, which area would you look for? Consideration, what all you need to consider for us is raw material, close to limestone, silica, gypsum areas where you get these. Energy, access to coal and power, correct. Then transport, efficient rail network should be close by so that transportation is easy. Then markets, near construction markets, so the wherever the construction sites are there or the markets are there it should be. Example, say for example Gujarat, the Gulf market access. So these things you have to keep in mind. So objective, you have to identify cement plants in various states. So look for cement plants in different states. Task, research and list the names of locations of cement plants across India. So you have to look for these and find out. Okay, now key industries in India. First of all, it's automobile industry. Objective, identify key locations and trends. So that is one thing you need to look for. Focus, the main focus should be on products like various vehicles, definitely very much required these days, correct. A location where you will find this, Delhi, Gurgaon, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Kolkata, Lucknow, Indore, Hyderabad, then Jamshedpur, Bangalore. So these are most of the developed cities where you will find the focus on. IT and electronic industry, if we see, objectives, identify key location and trends, again the same thing. For example, electronics, which are very important, and telecom equipments, nowadays very fast growing industry. Locations, if you see, they are mostly focused in Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, Kolkata, Lucknow and Coimbatore. This is a map which shows the location of IT industries in India. Now this is an image that you can see of a cable manufacturing facilities at HCL, Rupna Rainpur, West Bengal. Industrial pollution and environmental impacts, very, very important. Now we have seen we are making so much of progress through industries. People are getting employment, we are trading, we are getting and access to international market and everything. But what at the cost of what are we doing this? Our environment, right? So let us try to understand what impact it is having on our environment. The very first thing, the different types of pollution it is causing, every type of pollution. The first one being the air pollution, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, particulate matter, factory smoke, all these things are mixed in the fresh air, which makes it very, which makes it contaminated or polluted. And of course, we know the health hazards which are caused due to this. Then it also causes water pollution, because all these industries they dump their waste in the water bodies. For example, industrial waste from paper, chemical, textile industries, even heavy metals, all of this is dumped in the freshwater bodies, which again causes a lot of problem. It gets into the mainstream. It causes a lot of problem to aquatic flora and fauna. Even if any animals, or for that matter even human, if we consume this polluted water, it may cause a lot of health problems to us. It also causes soil pollution, right? So we are also polluting the soil. Industry effluents, chemicals, packaging waste, again dumped in these dumping zone, causes soil pollution. A lot of noise pollution is also caused because of these industries and construction activities, machinery noise. So all of these add on to a lot of noise pollution. Okay, industrial pollution and environmental impact, talking about the key points of this. Now we saw the sources, now let's talk about the key points. Impact, adverse effect on health. Of course, it will affect our health if you are constantly living around the surrounding which is completely polluted. Air, water, soil, everything is polluted. Polluted environment, aquatic life is also also faces a lot of problem. Then incidents, different unfortunate incidents have also taken place, like for example the Bhopal gas tragedy, right? So this was a big tragedy that took place, and many people lost their life. And also the next generation that came up at that time was born with certain problems in them, right? So this is another thing that happens. Waste, fly ash, phosphogypsum, steel, slags again cause a lot of problem. Health risk, definitely a lot of risk to the health, like nuclear pollution, again non-biodegradable, it is constantly there in the atmosphere. Causes cancer, something like cancer, which is very dangerous. The treatment of cancer is, a very, how it is, right? The cancer. Birth defects, many children are unfortunately born with some deficiencies. And then definitely we have a need for balance over here. Growth versus environment. If we talk about industrial growth, must consider environmental protection as well. So yes, definitely growth in industry is very much required, but not at the cost of environment. So we have to make sure that there is a balance between the two. A little bit of extra information through InstaBytes. NTPC's environmental initiative. So let's see what we have taken initiative for this environmental protection. NTPC, a leading power corporation. It is a power corporation in India with ISO 14001 certification for EMS, right, is dedicated, is totally dedicated to preserving the environment and nature resources. So whatever natural resources are there, they need to be preserved, and NTPC is taking care of that. Equipment utilization, using the latest techniques and upgrading equipment. So what they do is latest technology and techniques are used, and they upgrade the equipments which are already present. So this upgrading is always required. Waste reduction. So whatever the waste has been dumped in the water bodies, or maybe even the soil and all, making it pollutant, that also has to be taken care of. So reduction of waste has to be done. So maximizing ash utilization. So green belts are being made, like creating green belts for ecological balance and afforestation. Then what else is that pollution reduction, make sure that there's reduction in pollution. Managing ash ponds, right? So these are managed. Recycling ash water, again an important thing. And managing liquid waste. So how liquid waste to be managed, this is also taken care of. ecological monitoring to see, if the balance is being maintained. So implementing monitoring reviews, so constant monitoring is being taken place, watch is being kept, then reviews and online database is created, management for all the power station has been done. This is an illustration of the NTPC Ramagundam power plant. So that is all for today's session. Let us quickly summarize what we have done. All right, we began with mineral-based industries. What mineral-based industries are? We studied about the definition of this mineral-based industries. Then we studied about the what is aluminium smelting, right, and how it is used, for what it is used. Then we moved on to the chemical industry, in which fields it is used, the chemical industry, and how important it is, right. And then we move on to the fertilizers, how fertilizers are made and where they are, how important they are for agricultural industry. Then we moved on to the industrial pollution. Now, we spoke about so much of industries, so obviously they cause pollution. So what kind of pollution do these industries cause? What are the harmful effects of this pollution that they cause? And we also spoke about the environmental effect, what effect it has on environment, and we spoke about how we can deal with this. I hope you have understood and enjoyed the class. Thank you and have a nice day.